Hi everyone, Tracy here from Seed Flinger, where we fling seeds of truth, peace, love, joy, empowerment, and enlightenment. And today's topic is you can. This year of 2020 is an amazing transformation of body, mind, and spirit. It all works together. And I'm going to begin the first part of the topic, which is about your body. The body is a puppet, a vessel. It does whatever you say. You take the body for a walk, you take the body to exercise, you feed the body, and it does whatever you say. You are invisible, you are the commander-in-chief, and you reside in the body, or the body resides in you, more of a truth. You are not the body, you have a body. And if the body is sick and depressed and unable to move, then you aren't going to feel good. So the first order of business is the body in the year 2020, and it's going on the third week of January. So if you made any New Year's resolutions, it's not too late, because the egoic mind, which you'll hear me speak in this video, is the sabotager. And we all have to deal with the sabotager. Nobody gets to bypass into a state of empowerment and without moving or transcending through the egoic mind. The egoic mind is all about survival, and we needed it at a certain time in order to know, what plants to eat and what plants were poisonous, and to run away from saber-toothed tigers. And so now, in the year 2020, we are still using it for survival, but instead of the mind being a tool, we think that we are the mind. We have thoughts. We are not our thoughts. They are simply our options. So there's three things about the body that would be helpful in my experience. They're just little things. You don't do one big thing and have a body transformation. You do little things every day. Everybody likes to feel good, and to have a body that's agile and that you can move and put your pants on, and to be able to stretch and not be out of breath. And there are three things that would help you to just do little things every day. And I will speak about perseverance at the end of the body talk. The first one is to eat less sugar. I'm all about fruit, but processed sweets create an addiction in which we want to keep going back, and it gives you a sense of unsatisfaction. And there's some level of angst that sits underneath the sugar cravings. So every day, eat less sugar. Pretty easy, right? Just eat less sugar. 2, hydrate your body. Drink more water right before every meal. If you drink a glass of water before every meal, if you can just up your water just by a glass, it's going to hydrate you and be beneficial, and it's also going to flush out toxins. The third thing is to move. Get your body in movement, because movement burns calories, and it also gives us the agility that we're looking for. You don't even have to go to the gym. You can do squats without weights while you're watching TV. You can, move your arms and do circles. You can do push-ups, sit-ups, leg ups. You can go for a walk. You can go for a run. You can jog a little bit, walk a little bit. You can do jumping jacks in your living room. Every little bit that you do is beneficial, because we are building this body, mind, spirit stamina, which creates perseverance. Because if you don't have perseverance, then you won't continue. And those people that don't continue automatically lose, because they never accomplish what they set out to. And if your body, and a lot of people are into the body, the fitness, the diet, and all of that, the body is... This isn't just something that came about just recently. You probably had this when you were younger. You wanted a fit body, and you just didn't follow through to actually be able to sustain that. Some people have, but some people haven't. Most people haven't, because the perseverance gets sabotaged by the mind. So now I'm going to go into the second part of this journey of 2020 that we are doing together, and I am doing it with you. I am doing the same thing with the body, and although I've been refining the mind for what seems like eons of time. There's always more blocks that I become aware of. And so we are together on this journey. So this is I am going to be talking about the ego, the one that sabotages your goals and the things that you're wanting, which we all have. There aren't any exceptions unless somebody is enlightened or moved to a state of empowerment. Thoughts, as they come to us, they're options. They're not mandatory that we believe them. We are the ones that give thought power. They, in and of themselves, are just options. So we, the commander-in-chief, are giving our attention, and we are making these thoughts true. And a belief is just a thought that you've kept thinking. A lot of this is unconscious as well. So people will talk about the the subconscious. The subconscious or the unconscious, we're not completely aware of the blocks, because who would consciously sabotage themselves? And the answer is no one. Who would consciously create their own misery? And nobody. So there has to be things that we're not aware of that is creating this sabotage. And these are the mind tricks, the ego tricks. And I say they're tricks because you can see through them. If we weren't able to see through them, we would always be subject to the mind, and we would be the mind's slave. And one of the first ones is I can't. Is it I can't or I won't? Another thing is we use the shoulds and coulds and woulds, and these are just buying us excuses. And so you could say, I should go out and exercise, I should eat less. And if you change that to I must, because then you are removing all of the excuses of the ego. Another one is, we think that we're lazy. We think that we have to put in all this effort. And so if you want a body that is smaller and more agile, you think you have to do all of this work. But that saying, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And so each day with persistence is the focus. We're not looking at having to work our butts off and losing, working all the time and missing out on pizza and ice cream. That's not what this is about. This is about living life, having your cake and eating it too. And each day just doing little things and doing it every day and not really focused on the end result. You already know it's what you want. The universe already hears you. It already heard you. And the reason we keep getting nagged is because we're the ones that put out that desire and it hasn't been met yet. One thing about the universe and how the law of attraction or the mirror effect works is the universe doesn't exist in a future. And it doesn't regret the past. The power source of the universe, of what we want to pull into us, exists right now. So when you are thinking about the future, you are actually putting out, I don't have it. And so to remove some of these blocks to think, whether it's patience or a body or peace that you're wanting, every time we put out that we don't have it, the law of attraction will bring us situations and circumstance to prove that it's true, because we're the ones that said it was true. And therefore, we are the commander-in-chief, and whatever we say and believe, not just what we say, but what we believe to be true, will be mirrored back as true. And when you think about it, nobody's really accomplished anything really big. It's been every day. In this moment right now, the little things, they add up. And so at the end of the year, and I like to share that, you have any beliefs that are going to contradict what it is that you're wanting to accomplish, which really, when it's about the body and the mind, it's about feeling. We want to feel peace, and we want to have, a body, the vessel that moves us through the world, that feels good and is healthy, is to hold on to those doubts until December, because it's coming up on the third week of January. We're doing this for a whole year, all of us together, whoever's joining us on this journey together. It's more powerful to do things together because we have this support. And then in December, we'll sit down and we'll talk about all of the sabotaging thoughts that were going to stop us, and we'll let them air their dirty laundry. But for now, we must do little things every day. We must choose that which is beneficial, is serving us and not sabotaging us, at least for these first 11 months. Usually what happens when we set a goal or we want to accomplish something and we feel ready, we get all inspired and motivated, we make that decision and we're hoorah, hoorah, you know, and then the sabotaging thoughts will come into us. These are all of the thoughts that are going to stop us from doing what it is that we want to do, that we want to feel, that we want to be. And most people will fail because they are giving power to these thoughts. And the way that I deal with these thoughts is I allow them to come in, and I see that these thoughts, if I give them power and attention and focus, are the reasons why I didn't have the follow through in my life. I wasn't able to persevere because I believed these thoughts. So expect them. They're going to come, and moving through them, and I refuse them. I don't refuse them out of anger and say, oh my God, no. I just don't give it the time of day. I allow it to be there, well, because it's already there. You can't stop it from coming. You know, it's like the flying fish is already on the boat. So here comes a thought that said, I don't want to. I don't want to go out and walk and run. I want to watch a movie and eat popcorn. And I choose to ignore the thought and go out and walk and run, because what I'm really wanting is to feel good. And I am not going to feel good consistently if I sit down and eat popcorn. Although I do watch a movie. I love movies. I love entertainment and eat popcorn. But if I am refusing to do something that I want, and for this sabotaging thought, I will never be able to accomplish my goal. So I will go out and I will walk, run, or do whatever. And then I will sit down and eat popcorn and eat a little bit less of it. And therefore I can have my cake and eat it too. And I will not sabotage my life. And so thoughts are, they're not mandatory that you believe them. They're just options. And we know, when we know we're the commander in chief, we're the ones that decide which ones we're going to make real, we're going to make true. Then you start to get empowered. You start to live your life deliberately instead of by default, instead of just believing every thought, and then we become a slave, and then the body starts to get sluggish. We don't have perseverance. And so this is the part that we begin to get perseverance, because we're not going to accept these sabotaging thoughts. We accept that they're there, but we're not going to accept that we're going to fall for it, because then we're just a slave to thoughts and we've given our power to the mind. When the mind is our servant and we can use it however we want to. Peace of mind is a very powerful state of being. We don't have to fight our thoughts. We don't have to be confrontational and then create two beings in our head that, we feel schizophrenic where one's arguing with the other. We are the invisible spirit that is the one that dictates to the mind which ones we're going to believe, and not the other way around. The problem with humanity is that humanity as a collective gives power and attention to things that can go wrong, and so we find ourselves not feeling peace. We feel more war and resistance, and we want to fight. And we're just fighting thoughts. That's what we're fighting. And then it turns into fighting each other over thoughts. And peace begins in the world when it begins in you, when you are no longer going to buy these fearful thoughts, these sabotaging thoughts, because we're the ones that suffer. So to have peace of mind is to be in a state of peace, regardless of what you're thinking. The thoughts are going to come. By the time you have a thought, it's already there. You can't say, oh, I shouldn't have thought that, or I'm not going to think that. It's too late. It's already there. You didn't have a choice. It's what are you going to do with the thought? Are you going to choose to focus on it? Is it something you want? Does it feel good? And we automatically, intuitively know that it doesn't feel good. So why would we focus on something that doesn't feel good? And we can never have a state of peace by constantly focusing on fear, because fear is the absence of peace. We also do a little at a time. You don't have to deal with the whole entire mind. As a matter of fact, the mind is silent. If it wasn't for the silence, you wouldn't even be aware of the thoughts. So 98% of our mind is actually silent. We're only hypnotized by 2% of the thoughts. And we gave them power, and then they returned to us as the world mirrored back that they were true. So you have to say, yeah, it was true because I gave it power to be true. And each day, with each thought, in each moment, is where the choice is. Do you want to focus on it? Is it bringing you peace? You already know this. This is not something that can be taught to you. You know if something feels good or if it doesn't feel good. And our guidance system are our emotions. The emotions are telling us what we're holding in mind. And to fight and go to war within ourselves is to create it out there. So peace of mind really begins with you, and it's about what you choose to focus on. So there's the body, there's the mind, and then the spirit. With each breath we take, the breath of life goes in and out and in and out. And so the spirit is the powerhouse which lives in us, or we live in the spirit, however it's irrelevant really. Everything outside myself is really going on inside, so there's nothing really outside. And ultimately, to be in alignment with the spirit, which is already peaceful, which already holds in consciousness everything you want. It already knows what you want. You set this ball rolling a long time ago. You want a body that's more agile and feels good and carries your spirit, you know. It's been said that the body is the temple that houses the spirit, and the body is a parrot to whatever you say. And so, you know, these vessels let us recognize each other and communicate with each other, but ultimately they're just like clothes. They're just clothes and they fall away, but the spirit remains. And so together, this one unit, body, mind, and spirit, works as a unit. And the more spirit that we have and the less ego, the more perseverance, the more peace, the more love. And so this is what this year is about. I just love 2020. It's a fantastic number, and it's time for me to not let any thoughts come into my life of sabotaging, because I too set this ball rolling a long time ago on many things in my life that I wanted to accomplish. And one of the things was what started this whole video thing is how to get your content out there. And I have just been aware since that first video of some of the blocks that I was holding, that I didn't get support, or it's, you know, you have to know people, or you have to get a video that's viral or whatever. And I was blocking the very support based on one belief that I held when I was a child. And so I unblocked the support, you know, and the support is already there. I don't have to look for it. I just had to unblock it. And the other sabotaging belief that I had was, it was about source or God not being great. And I held that I would be afraid to find out that source wasn't as great as I thought, and I wouldn't be able to bear that. But I was already holding that in mind. I already had that belief. It wasn't a future. It was already from having failed businesses and, you know, trying and failing and not wanting to go on another business venture where I already did the online stuff. I had the brick and mortar businesses, and God can be great as long as I don't experience one more failure of that. And so I recognized that, or the law of attraction brought it to me as a sabotaging belief, and I chose not to focus on that. That it's like our value. We can't become more valuable. We already are valuable, and nor can we become less valuable. And the greatness, it starts off with these sabotaging thoughts of the me that I think that I am, and then it becomes joined with I of myself, because the ego is an illusion, so it can't do anything, but source can do everything. And then it merges with the me, the source and the I. The ego leaves, and we're just left with source, and that is the greatness. It's not about the ego being great, it's about source does great things. When I remove the sabotaging limited self that I think I am, and when that's out of the way, there's only power, there's only source. And that is what is great. Anyway, this is our journey together. If you're taking it with me, and if you watched this far, you should be. Do you know why? Well, because you are. And if you're not, you won't hear this. Anyway, so this is the end of this video. I will continue on doing videos every few days. And I want to say, we got this. We can do this. We got the power. We got everything we need right here. Peace to you. And if you liked the video from YouTube, hit the like button. And if you want to subscribe, subscribe and click the little bell, because that will give you updates of every time I post a video. Okay, peace to you.